On top of that, I had to do the arduous task of doing my taxes. It could really wreck you financially. So, do your taxes, as much as you might not like them. Hello everyone, thank you again for coming to another Debt-Free College Kid video. Today we'll be looking at doing our taxes, at least that's what I'm doing right now. And yeah, this whole week has been pretty hectic. On top of grinding out some work hours to pay for this next quarter, I've been doing my own taxes to get a jump on it, because come, what was it, April 15th? Taxes will be due, and I want to get a jump on it. Anyway, yeah, taxes. Not fun. But as long as you live in the US, you gotta do them. But, that aside, here I am. Because it is sensitive information, obviously I'm not going to include it in the frame, but I'm going to kind of, as I come upon different aspects that I think might need to be noted, I will speak to you and let you know my thoughts. So, taxes need to be done every year, and I'm using a very helpful tool. You could use like Inuit, TurboTax. You could use TaxSlayer. You could use. I've heard some people had great success with Ramsey Smart Tax. So if you go to RamseySolutions.com, I think you can find it there somehow. But anyway. By the way, this video is not sponsored by that. I've just heard that, I'm trying to give you honest options. The tool I'm using is from the IRS, and it's basically like, let's see if I have a paper document to show you. Yeah, so it's like this document right here. The IRS 1040 and 1040 SR for this tax year. And this is the paper booklet that you would see if you wanted to do your taxes by yourself and with paper. And so, of course, you have your name, contact info, whatever, your income, all the different tedious lines. And you have these things that, and then SR just stands for senior. So, I highly doubt you're going to be needing this. But who knows? There might be seniors among you watching this, in which case, go right ahead and go to this one. And before I get too far into this, I'm not a tax professional, but I am getting used to doing my own taxes, so take that for what it is. Do your own research, do your own work, but yeah, this is more or less me sharing my thoughts on taxes and tricks that helped me do my own taxes last year in 2020. One of the things that I had to come to grips with taxes was these things called schedules. So you have like this main form over here that you put all of your information in. And you have these worksheets almost called schedules. They're like documents that help detail what comprises the totals that you will enter on the other page, like your income and various circumstances that might not be entirely understandable on the surface. Like for instance, like let's say you have an inheritance, or someone in your family passes away, or if you have a sudden complicated situation with your finances, you lost a job to COVID or whatever, So yeah, you have schedules 1, 2, and 3. And that's all that's included in this paper booklet. But what I went to was at the bottom here. I'm not sure if you could see that too well, but it says free file. See irs.gov/free file. And there will be a link in the description to that as a resource that you might find helpful for future years. Or maybe even this year, who knows? You still got time. But yeah. Some people say, there's not if you're in college, you don't need to do your taxes because you're likely not going to make enough to do taxes. But I think, why not learn life skills while I'm in college so that it can better prepare me for the real world. And if I make a mistake while I'm in college, and young and still learning stuff, the repercussions won't be so bad. Take for instance, if I had $2,000 and did my taxes on it, not trying to do taxes that are unnecessary. No. We're trying to save money, not lose money. But taxes do need to be done, and if I'm doing them on $2,000 and I mess up, there's going to be more or less of a consequence than if I had $200,000. $200,000, let's say I won the lottery, okay? And I had to do taxes on those. Well, first of all, if I won the lottery, I would get some very trusted professionals to help walk me through that season, because a lot of people dig themselves into a big ditch on the lottery. Anyway, that's a tangent, but if I did win the lottery and I messed up my taxes on the $200,000, that'd have a much greater consequence than just $2,000. I'm just going through the different forms, filling in my stuff, my information. And you'll have banks send you like letters and whatnot that say important tax document enclosed. Or sometimes you'll have W-2s come back from if you're employed, which you should be if you're on a debt-free journey, unless you bust your butt for scholarships, in which case I'm a little iffy as to how that works. But I think you're still taxed on certain scholarships. You might want to check that. But yeah, if you're working, your employer should send you an important tax document. And yeah, those have all the information. It's really like seeing what information's needed on those tax documents and just writing them back in. I also found it helpful to create an Excel spreadsheet, and I know a lot of people, when they heard that, said, "Oh my goodness, Jeff, no, Excel is not for me. Too complicated, too nerdy. I just want it simple." But it's actually a great tool. It's like a calculator that doesn't erase your answers or erase your input. So you can just enter in the different cells, the different values that you want. For instance, for my income, I had a lot of different sources of income, as I'm sure most of you do if you're trying to scrape money from all sorts of nooks and crannies. So I had independent contracts as one column, gifts for another, tips that from my work, and then my employment, and I just entered in all the different values that I got from them and added them up in Excel, and it's really nice. It definitely sped up the process for me, so you might want to look into using Excel. Right now I'm entering information for sales and other dispositions of capital assets, which is basically to say, like, if you have stocks, which I have a little bit of stocks with, so yeah, maybe I'll talk about this in a future video, but generally you don't want to do what I did and invest a whole bunch of money in stocks right when you're trying to save up money to invest in your future. Sometimes waiting is better. But anyway, yeah, now I'm biting the bullet and paying taxes on my stocks. Alright guys, I'm going to call it a day for this effort on my taxes. If you do your own taxes, you'll find out that it's not a one-day thing. So we're going to jump over to the next day right here. So it's the next day, and refreshed after a good night's sleep. Here I have to sign back in because gotta have that security on these sensitive documents. But yeah, last session I finished up the securities and capital gains stuff. I still need to wrap up a little bit on that, but then I'll move on to another schedule. Now I'm moving on to Schedule C, profit or loss from a business. I have to fill this out because I started multiple businesses to help me raise money so that I could go to school. When I do my gap year story video series in the future, I'll probably touch on that. But if you guys are interested in knowing my perspective and what tips and tricks worked for me to start up my own business to help raise money for school, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to get that to you sometime in the future, hopefully sooner rather than later. But anyway, yeah, it's very helpful to keep all of your receipts and anything that you it's helpful to keep the records of anything you purchased so that you can perform your business operations. So yeah, it makes this filling process a lot easier. And like I said before, don't forget to use Excel. So that's all I'm going to say on this. Again, it's a lot of copying and pasting, just like all the rest of it. Yeah. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I know that I haven't said that much this video so far. But yeah, if you have any questions for me or any future videos or topics that you'd be interested in, just go ahead and drop them in the comments below. I'd love to read them. I don't have IRA distributions, no pensions and annuities, no Social Security benefits, no. Schedule D. Yeah, I'm gonna need to do that. Do I? Oh, something that I've forgotten to mention is this helpful tool, the instructions for the 1040 tax return. It outlines it just goes line by line and tells you what each of the terms mean and what information specifically they're asking you to enter in. So if you can get this online as a PDF or as a physical copy from your local library, I think. But yeah, I found it very helpful for cases like this where I think, do I have to attach a Schedule D? Wow. This is amazing. Like, so I filled out forms 8949, 3 of them for my securities, which are basically stocks. And I added on a Schedule D, which is the form you put all of the totals from the Form 8949s. And oh my goodness, this free file fillable forms did the math automatically without me having to do anything. And it's correct. Oh, such a time saver. Highly recommend it. Oh, wow. But in case it doesn't do the math for you automatically, there's a helpful button centered on the bottom which says do the math. And so be sure to click on that if you want it to import information and whatnot. Something also to keep in mind is, and I found this at the bottom of Schedule D, like many times with the IRS documents, they'll have you do a lot of the individual entries of information, and then they'll have you total them up later in the form or schedule, and then at the end they'll have you choose like a yes or no question, and depending on how you answer, they'll direct you to another form if necessary, or they'll say, all right, continue with your main 1040 tax return. It's relatively simple to follow, although it is complex. I'm not dumbing that down, but it's a lot easier to navigate because they tell you specifically, all right, if this is the case, you're going to need this form, so you jump over to that form, fill it out, and then if that form directs you to another form, you can fill that out, and then eventually you'll get to the point where you have filled out all the forms you need to, and then they'll start directing you back, and then you'll get right back to the 1040 tax return, and then you could just keep going. Another thing that you all might appreciate being aware of is there are some things with taxes that you have to submit, and there are other papers that help you get the right information entered. For instance, you have forms and schedules which do need to be submitted and filed, but many times you have these worksheets, like in the instructions here. You have worksheets. This one's the Qualified Dividends and Capital Gain Tax Worksheet. And the worksheets help you come up with the correct number at the end so that you can enter it into your forms or schedules. But this worksheet itself typically doesn't need to be filed unless it says so, in which case you need to do that. But yeah, they should say at the top or at the bottom if you need to include them or not in your tax filing. All right, I think I'm done with my taxes. And for those of you watching this video who haven't done taxes before, I would encourage you to start going through the motions, start learning how to, and then as you practice it, it'll become more and more second nature, and you'll do it a lot more efficiently. And who knows? I mean, I'm not to this stage, but I've heard of people who will do their taxes all on a Sunday or whenever they have time on one day. But again, I'm not to that level yet. But yeah, let me know in the comments any experiences you have had with taxes and you thought, I have a question on this. Maybe Jeff can answer it. And I'll do my best to look at them and let you know what my opinion is on it. Again, I'm not a tax professional, but I have done at least 2 years of taxes, and I do have some idea of what it takes to like figure out, okay, does this qualify in this category or this category, like with stocks or with tuition payments and whatnot. If you haven't done so already, I would encourage you to subscribe if you want more relevant content on how to afford and pursue a debt-free education and a freer future because of it. I try to post videos every week, and I hope to catch you in the next one. See you then.